All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm Blitz5 and I hope you guys are doing well. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the full patch notes for update 18.1. This is going to be a longer style video, and if you're looking for something shorter, I just put out a video going over the patch notes TLDR style, which means too long didn't read, going over everything in the update in just 2 minutes. So if you want something shorter, go click on the previous video. I'll also leave a link above and watch that. Or if you want to go through the entire patch notes with me and hear some of my opinion and feedback, then you can listen through this video. Normally this would be a way longer video, but there's not a lot in this update. And the reason why I'm still recording this video is I kind of wanted to share my opinion and some thoughts about this, and also give some explanation to kind of what's going on here, because I have a little bit of information behind what's going on at PUBG. Not everything, but I'm partnered with them and I do get to speak to some of the people there. Not actually recently, but I do kind of have an idea what's going on, I think, in this circumstance. So first off, we have the live schedule. So the test server is out today, May 31st, 2022. And then next Wednesday will be the PC update. And then next Thursday will be the console update. This has been the same for quite some time now, so hopefully you guys have this down. If you're new, then you can just read the dates or put them in your phone for an alert if you want to play when the update goes live. And then the new map rotation. So really the only part of this update that's a really big change, other than some loot changes, is that Vikendi is leaving already and Paramo is coming back. And a lot of people were upset about this. Obviously, if you like Vikendi, you're going to be upset. If you love Paramo, you're going to be excited. But I keep kind of reiterating that a while ago, PUBG stated that they would basically almost always keep Erangel and Miramar in the playlist rotation. So there's a bunch of maps now. There's like 8 maps. They're always going to keep Erangel in, and now they're rotating 5 maps. And then because there's ranked, which is Erangel, Miramar, and Taego, they're most likely always going to keep Miramar and Taego in, right? I don't think they would have a ranked map in and not have it in the casual queue. Maybe eventually we'll see that, but for right now, we can almost always guarantee we're going to see Erangel and Miramar. And then right now, it seems like Taego's included in that. And then the last 2 maps are being rotated. And it seems like PUBG likes to keep some kind of balance here where they want smaller maps too. You don't want just 5 large maps. If you have large and small, you kind of want it to be equal, which is why this current map playlist or rotation was one of the best. You have 3 big maps, Vikendi, which is 6x6, and then Sanhok 4x4. But anyways, for some reason, Vikendi was only here for 1 season. It's out and they're putting Paramo in. So we're having 2 smaller maps, which I actually like. I think 3 big maps is kind of a lot, but it is fun. Just depends on your play style and what you're in the mood for. But really, this is, to me, not that surprising, because they're working on Vikendi Reborn, and we're going to keep seeing PUBG do this every single update or every single season, just rotating maps in and out. So, I would say kind of get used to it for right now. And then for rank, they actually increased the amount we're going to see Taego. So it was 40, 40, 20, and now Taego's actually 30. So Miramar will be 30 as well, which I think is fine. Some people don't like Taego, but I think that's a better distribution, honestly, just for my opinion. And then ranked rewards, this is kind of just a well-oiled machine now. And then this is where you kind of get into the weeds here. And I kind of skipped over this in the TLDR version and just talked about the major parts of this. But basically, loot recently was increased on Erangel and Miramar, specifically weapons and sniper rifles and things like that. And in the process, I think Erangel actually had the heals decreased, which didn't make sense at all. I mean, that's one of those things where, like, I don't understand why they would ever decrease heals in PUBG. It's not like heals are everywhere. Usually people are, really looking for them on the bigger maps. Then it went live and the heals were really hard to find. And then even on Miramar, where they allegedly didn't reduce the heals because they increased all the other spawns, the heals went down. And or maybe they didn't. PUBG always has different answers here. You talk to PUBG, sometimes the data shows this, shows that. In any case, as a player, from my personal opinion, which might just be my opinion, it's obviously not factual, it seemed like there was less heals on both of these maps. So now PUBG is going in and they're increasing the heals, but on top of that, they're also just increasing the total number of items that spawn on each map. And then they're increasing all of these other things, which could be good if they tested it out, but PUBG doesn't seem to have a full grasp on what these changes actually do in game. Excuse me. They obviously have ways of testing things out, but PUBG does this time and time again. But really, every game has trouble struggling with balance. It's not just PUBG. I shouldn't just point the finger at them. It's very hard to balance a game like this when you have so many items and spawn points. And sometimes, things are random, but then sometimes 3 helmets spawn next to each other. There's crazy things that happen. But when I see spawn rates for mountain bikes have gone up, by 50%, and that they're increasing throwables, which, you know, I don't have a hard time finding throwables or frags or anything at all. And throwables are already kind of a controversial thing in the game. Getting hit by a frag, they're still very strong. Mollies are strong. Stuns are strong. Smokes are really strong. It's only 25%, but they spawn a lot, so that number has to be pretty high. So you have to look at this stuff. You know, if the spawn rate is really low, then increasing it by 25% is nothing. But if the spawn rate is high, then it's different. So, you know, looking at percentages is also a little tricky. So I just feel like this is a lot of data to take in. Just know that they're swapping out a lot of things, and we're going to have to wait until this goes live to see the repercussions of this, but know that they're trying to fix the spawn rates and make it more balanced. I feel like for me, I don't get into the weeds with every little detail here. I just see, okay, they're increasing heals. We might see some more throwables. They're increasing vert grips, which I don't understand why, and stocks and stuff like that. I feel like I never really have a hard time finding those things, sometimes tax stocks, but overall, I don't really have a problem with that. And sorry, my voice is getting a little hoarse here. A lot of talking today, a lot of video recording. And then getting into Paramo, they did a sub update here. So basically, this is kind of like a terrain overhaul. Well, I shouldn't say that. They've kind of increased the objects in cover and added some new things in here. So they've increased some rocks around the lava. It's always been kind of hard to navigate here. Plus, some areas in the lava you can't get over without taking damage. So I feel like this makes sense. They've added in some more structures around here to give it a little bit more oomph in some areas, instead of just being all rocks, which I think Paramo definitely needed. Then they added these wells. I made a joke about this in the TLDR video. I actually tried to see this in game, but my game kept crashing on PC. So normally, if you're new here, I usually put in a ton of footage of the new update of the test server, but my game kept crashing on PC every time I played. So I could not play. I got like one Paramo game in, and then I didn't find the well. When I went to go find the replay, there was no replay for the game. So I couldn't get any in-game footage of this. I'm sorry, guys, but they added these wells. Like, there's multiple of them on the map. They added some more relic structures. So basically new structures in the game. They changed, they said the landscape and some steep cliffs have been added to the mountain. So people were actually climbing up the mountains and getting to these crazy spots on the outskirts of the map. So PUBG has fixed that. And just fixing the map. So I wouldn't really say this is like an update because PUBG does this a lot to certain maps. They were doing it to Old Sanhok and some other maps as well. I'm adding in some rocks here and there to try and fix it or just make it better playable, for lack of a better term. Training mode here, some small updates here. They're just adding in like a lever penalty, and nickname will show now in the beginning of 1v1 arena. AI training match update, arcade mode. They're adding Sanhok into arcade mode, but this isn't even an update because they added Sanhok back in 17.1. So they added the old version of Sanhok back in, the original version. So now they're just adding the original TDM maps back in, which, you know, is kind of expected, honestly. Then we have a map selection ratio. This is for TDM. There you go. Custom match, now in custom match. Survival mastery, nothing new here. They're just fixing kind of like a thing that you could exploit doing. So you won't be able to level up as much, or XP for certain things. And then the M249 just got a visual update, but barely. I mean, it's just a small change. The trigger and some details of the gun look different. So nothing crazy here. And then that just affects the skins that are on it. But I think PUBG's trying to make the skins, I think what they're doing is PUBG's making the guns look better and then the skins look better, just making them, you know, a little bit more updated for 2022, because a lot of these things were probably put in the game years ago. So PUBG's just slowly updating the game. And really, that's it. I mean, we're going to scroll through here. There's not that much. They finally included more mission lists here, especially for the special events. You couldn't see your progress in special events and drops in the game. So now you can finally do this. Originally, you know, PUBG didn't even have this at all for the regular missions. I remember when PUBG had to put that in. And then some quality of life stuff here, quality of life and just bug fixes around the board and performance update. So, I mean, this is kind of it, guys. There's really not much here. Some interesting bug fixes. The 15 times scope now has been fixed. If you're new to the game, you probably haven't used this, but the 15 times scope famously for the entirety of PUBG, my career of PUBG, is very slow, or seems very slow, and super hard to use, but it's fun because it's so hard to use. And they fixed that, or at least made it feel better. And then there's an issue where you could take out people from the DBS or with the DBS in the BRDM. And then also they fixed an issue, but it keeps popping back up on console where you hear vehicles with no sound. This has been something that's been happening for months. They say they fix it, it's not fixed, fixed on PC, fixed on console, keep going back and forth. But you can see here, this is where it's brought up. But again, it's one of those things where, is it really fixed? Maybe they got one of the solutions down or one of the problems fixed, but you know, I feel like they've said this before and you keep hearing it, but hopefully it is, because that is an annoying bug and some other things. So the reason why, again, I wanted to make this video is because we have a big update on the way. So it makes sense that PUBG doesn't have a ton of content, because there is a new map coming this summer, allegedly scheduled for July. KIKI, you can check out my video talking about the roadmap for 2022 and the launch of KIKI and some information that PUBG published recently. And then also PUBG, I think, has hit a point where they just put out a ton of content. So there was a rumor that PUBG 2 is being worked on and then canceled. And then they just took all those ideas or ideas for new content and put them into PUBG. Who knows if that's true? But in any case, over the last year, we saw a lot of content come into the game that changed the game forever. The tac bag stuff, drones, all of those items. And really ever since like 2 or 3 years ago, from PUBG putting in gliders to new weapons, new vehicles, we've seen a steady flow of content every single month with new content, new content, new content, new content. Even if it's just one thing, they usually kind of snuck it in. One new item, one new item. And then the last 2 updates really haven't had much as filler content, quality of life updates. And I think PUBG is kind of in this point in its life cycle where we're going to see this, where not every update is going to be new content. It's going to be just an update to the game, which is how a lot of games operate. And then we won't see major stuff new unless they come up with a brand new idea. We have a new map, we have a new survivor pass, and those kind of things. I might be wrong with this, but I think that's where PUBG is headed. And we're going to have to wait until 18.2 or 19.1, whenever KIKI launches. I think it's going to be 18.2 to see all of that stuff. And I would imagine that we'll see a survivor pass with KIKI, or maybe right after. Who knows? PUBG's kind of been spacing out all the content to keep people, keep people's attention on the game. So I think that's what's up right now. People might not like it, but it is what it is. PUBG has things planned out really far in advance now. So I think we're kind of stuck with this for now. Hopefully people will stick around. It's the summertime. I know people will be in and out of gaming. Still fun to get some game time in the summer though. And we will look forward to KIKI and all the new content. So as always, thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking around for this video. If you made it this far, if you did, please drop a like. Remember to subscribe for other videos out there. And I know this was a weird one, lack of content, a little quiet, late time recording for me. So I appreciate you guys for watching. As always, thank you all for watching. I'm Blitz5, and peace out.